Hey guys, Steven here with another video on how to play some of my favorite puzzles. This one is on consecutive, or also known as non-consecutive Sudoku. It's a fun little twist on the regular Sudoku rules. Just like in regular Sudoku, all the rows, columns, and 3x3 boxes must have digits 1 through 9. But the added rule, or the added clues, is that some cells, some neighboring cells, are going to be consecutive digits and others are going to be non-consecutive digits. Here, the clues is the red lines. So any cells that have a red line in between them are going to be consecutive. So, for instance, these two could be 4, 5, or 7, 8. And any cells that are next to each other without a red line cannot be consecutive, or they must be non-consecutive. So here you see a 4, 7. So if we look at this cell, for instance, it could not be a 3 because it's right next to a 2. It could be, say, a 7. Well, there's a 7 there, but you get my point. Could be, any digit that's non-consecutive to a 1 or a 2. So that's it as far as the rules. What I'm going to go ahead and do is try to solve a bit of this for you and share some common tips and tricks. Probably won't solve the whole thing just for the sake of time, but want to get it going and you can finish it at home if you'd like. So the first thing that I do is I try to start with the 1s and 9s because in these, the 1s and 9s are helpful because they're more constrained. Right? With a 1 and a 9, there's only one other digit that's consecutive with it, so a 1 and a 2, or a 9 and an 8, whereas all the other digits are going to have two possibilities. So if you have a 5, the consecutive digit next to it could be a 6 or a 4. So that's why 1s and 9s are important. They're a little bit more constrained. The second thing I look for is whenever there's multiple clues in a row or column that are right next to each other, it creates a run. So what I mean by that is if I just delete these two and I look at these 4 cells, I know that these have to be consecutive going up or down in an order. So I knew that this wouldn't be able to be a 3 because if this went down to say 2, 1, and then I'd run out of space, couldn't be a 0. And it can't go the other way because it couldn't be like that, because you could see the 5 and the 6s are in the same cell or same box. Same with the 5s, and these two are consecutive when they're not supposed to be. So I would know that this could not be a 3. It also couldn't be a 2 for the same reason, right? The 5s would run into each other. So that would be helpful. And then same here, I know that there's a run there. And the other thing is I know that a 1 or 9 cannot be in the middle of a run. So you can't have that. So that's helpful. The last thing is just always remember this is still a Sudoku game at its core. So you still want to be able to use the same techniques such as scanning, looking for pairs, naked singles, doubles, X-wings, and all that fun stuff. So let's get started. What I would do is, again, start with the 1. So if we look here across, we know that the top left and top right are boxes are taken care of. So we know that it has to be in one of these 3 in the middle box. Well, we know it can't be one of these 2 because what would end up happening is with it being consecutive digits, there would be 2 2s, and that's not possible. Same thing here. So we know it can't be in one of these 2 cells, therefore it has to be there. And then if we look at the columns, right, we know that all of those cells are taken care of, so it has to be in one of these 3. Well, it can't be here because what would end up happening is this would be a 2, and then these 2 cells next to each other would be consecutive, and they're not supposed to be because there's no red line in between them. So there's no 1 there. So these have to be a 1. I just don't know which one, so what I end up doing is I just pencil mark it, and I come back to it later. Hopefully more clues will come down the road that'll reveal it. And I think that's it for the 1s, because if I come down here, this isn't really helpful in any way. So then I would look at the 9s. So with this 9 coming across, I see that these 3 are already taken care of. So I know it has to be in one of these 3. Well, we know it can't be here because that's in the middle of a run. And also there's a 9 already in that column, so it can't be there. It's going to have to be one of these two. Now it could be here, I think, right? If that run went down like this, that would be fine. And you know what? I deleted these two numbers at the start, didn't I? And I never put them back. I think they were 3 and 2. Let me just check. Hold on. Yeah, okay. I just got a little book here where I pulled the puzzle from. So that's right. So yeah, 9 could go here. 9 could also go here. So we'll put them in both cells and then we'll shrink it so that it looks like a pencil mark. And then we know a 9 is going to have to be here, right? Because we scan across. And it's got to be one of these two. So that's a 1 or 9. That's going to be shrunken down. I think that's it for the 9s. If I scan these, it's not really helpful. I know the 9 can't be here, but still leaves us with 3 other squares. So that's it for the 1s and 9s. 9s would be a lot easier if there were any 8s given, but you can see there was no 8s on the board. So we'll come back to it hopefully and be able to get more. So let's look at the 2s. We know that there's got to be a 2 in one of these 3. Well, the 2 can't be here or here, and I'll explain why. So if the 2 is there, this is going to have to be a 1 or 3. Well, there's already a 1 and a 3 in both the row and column, so that doesn't work. And same thing here. This is going to be a 1 or 3, and there's already a 1 or a 3 in that row. So the 2's got to be there. This can't be a 1, so it has to be a 3. And if we look now, there's got to be a 3 in this bottom cell here. Because again, it's got to be one of these 2. There's already one over there. And there's got to be a 3 in one of these 2. And it can't be here, because if it was here, this would have to be a 4 or a 2. And it can't be a 2 because there's already a 2 in that box. And it can't be a 4 because that would be consecutive with that 3. So the 3 must be up here. This has to be a 4 because it can't be a 2. This is either a 2 or a 4. And I don't know that answer yet. This has to be a 3 or 5. And I don't know that answer yet. So we'll come back to that. 3's got to be here or here, right? So we have the 3's in those 2 rows. You know, so it looks like that. So it's got to be one of these 3. Can't be the middle one because of this 3. So one of these is a 3. Pencil mark those, and so forth. I think you guys get the point from here. I'm not going to finish it for the sake of time. We're getting close to 10 minutes, and I know you guys have other things you can be doing. But if you want to finish it, go ahead, give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Of course, if you're going to do these, first learn how to do regular Sudokus first, because these can be harder. Typically, any Sudoku variant is going to be harder than most regular Sudokus because you have to use different kinds of logic. And that's part of the fun, is it gives you a little bit of a different way to think. But hopefully it's been fun. Give me that thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.